I'm Davy, and I'm awesome, and welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell a funny story from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. See, I will let it be known that I do in fact have a prejudice against a very particular type of people. There is one type of person in this world that I loathe, that the majority of I wish nothing but bad things. This type of person, I will admit, if I see them, the moment I recognize what they are, I judge them, and harshly. And it's very difficult for this particular type of person to change my mind about them as an individual, because I don't look at these people as individuals. I look at these people as rotten, vacuous, disgusting people. Who am I talking about? Perhaps you've heard of the customer!
Ew.
That's right, if you've watched my videos, I've made it pretty clear. I don't really like customers. I feel like once a person stops being a person and goes to being a customer, it's like their IQ drops down to their shoe size. But of all the kinds of customers there are and all the many reasons I despise them, there is one type that is extremely annoying. And that customer is a customer that I have referred to as the unwanted motivational speaker. Now, these customers, they don't come along every day, thank God. But they come around once in a while, and it's basically the same thing. They see you, they look at the surroundings and think, oh, this person needs my advice because something must have went wrong in their lives if they're working here. First of all, screw you. And this person starts giving you unwanted, unsolicited, unmitigated advice about what they should do about their future. We don't want to hear it from you. Especially because this person, despite the fact that they feel that they are just the most wonderfully well put together people you've ever encountered, very often you can tell by looking at them they're not. I'm just saying, these are usually the kind of people who should keep their advice to themselves or use it themselves, because it's very clear looking at them that life ain't exactly a bowl of cherries for them either. And I'm going to give you the most disturbing time this ever happened to me. But keep in mind, this kind of stuff has happened to me many times. It was when I was living in California. I was working at a gas station, and a guy came in who was, well, how do I put this nicely? If he had a home, I guarantee you he was paying through the week. And if he did have this place and was paying through the week, he obviously just got it that day or decided not to take use of its showers. And he was very, very intoxicated. Which I'm not judging. I don't know what put that person in that position, and it's none of my business. But for some reason, these are the ones that really love to come in and tell you how you should live your life. Now, just to give you a little insight to this guy, the first thing he does is go to the very back coolers, where we keep our cold beers and other alcoholic drinks, except for the expensive stuff that we keep behind the counter. This normally would have been kind of like a okay, whatever thing, but here was the thing. It was around 3 in the morning, and this was in California. In California, between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., you are not allowed to buy alcohol. It's against the law. In fact, where I was working had a rule. If you were working the graveyard shift, like I was doing, covering the normal guy, at 1:45 a.m., if we had a moment, we had to go lock those doors. Now, if we had customers or something at the time, it was like, okay, just as soon as you get a chance, but it was made very clear, at 1:55 a.m., customers or not, you excuse yourself and go lock those doors real quick. Because by 2 a.m., you can't sell them alcohol. And once they were locked, that was it. They're locked. Can't open them until 6 a.m. So yes, that meant that usually there was a couple minutes left in 2 a.m., but I can't get them alcohol. People would get upset, get ridiculous, but as I've talked about in videos before, I don't make the freaking rules. But more often than not, I didn't make a big deal. Now, Mr. has it all together, goes up, starts pulling on the doors that will not open, not getting it, because he's like really pulling, until he finally looks over and goes, these doors are stuck. No, they're actually not stuck, they're locked. It's after 2 a.m. Can't sell alcohol in California after 2 a.m. Oh yeah. So, what does he do? Does he go find something else or just leave? No. Like most places, we had a couple of displays of things, one of them being beer, 12 packs of beer. He grabs one. He comes up to the front. They're warm, but he doesn't care. He grabs one and brings it up to the front, and I have to grab it and put it behind the counter and tell him, "Sir, I just told you it's after 2 a.m. I can't sell you alcohol. Not just the alcohol in the coolers. I can't sell you any alcohol." "Oh, right. Not even that stuff you got behind the counter? Because I really wanted a bottle of Jack." "No, sir, not even the stuff behind the counter. I can't sell you any alcohol. It's against the law. I could get a fine, lose my job, and even face jail time depending on how bad they wanted to prosecute me." "There's no cops around." "I understand that, but I am still not going to take the risk, especially because in your case it would be a double whammy, because even if it wasn't after 2 a.m., I wouldn't be allowed to sell it to you because you are clearly intoxicated." "I'm not that drunk." "Okay, I understand that, but I can't sell you alcohol because it is 1, illegal to sell after 2 a.m. around here, and 2, it's illegal to sell to somebody who is intoxicated." "Since when?" "Since before either you or I were born." "Come on. Don't be a slave, man." "I'm not. I get paid to do this." Now, after some more redundant, annoying exchange where he thought his drunk self could get me to sell him some alcohol, he finally gave up right before I was about ready to tell him to get out, and settled on buying a pack of cigarettes and a stick of beef jerky. To which I was like, good. He's going to get his cigarettes, he's going to get his jerky, and he's going to get out of here and leave me alone. Because as boring as the night shifts are at a gas station, I personally am somebody who can be just fine sitting there with nothing but my thoughts. However, after he gets his cigarettes and pays for everything and he's doing the patting the cigarettes down thing, he decides that I must need help and he's here for me. Let me ask you something. Do you like your job? It's a job. Now, side note, people, when somebody responds to you that way, when you ask them, do you like your job, and they say, it's a job, that means no. It means no, I don't like my job, but I don't want to talk to you about it. But it's a quick response to get you to shut up and get on with it. It's a job. Because most people will say something along the lines of like, oh yeah, I get that, But then you get this guy. Well, you should be doing something you love doing. Not a job that's just a job, but something you love. In a perfect world, everybody is doing something for a living that they love. But this isn't a perfect world. And in some cases, I'm working on it. This. I love this. But here's the thing about doing something you love. It is not that simple. It is not that easy. And some people don't know what they love to do until later in life. The person working behind the counter, obviously that's not really an option at the moment. And you don't know their situation. Maybe they're working on it. Maybe they're not. Maybe they've settled. But why is that any of your friggin' business, random stranger? You know what you need to do. You need to go back to school. That's what you need to do. Go back to school. Get more education. Now, at this point, I tried to make a joke to get him to stop. Just something like, yeah, last time I did that, they just told me you don't go here, get out. Well, you gotta enroll. Oh, is that how it works? Well, you gotta apply yourself. You gotta go to school for it. Now, the go to school thing is another thing I absolutely love hearing from people like, oh, you should go to school. To do what? And they'll come up with suggestions like, be a doctor, be a lawyer. I hate to break it to you, but at some point, if I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer, I would have gone to school for it already. Or another one I hear all the time is, well, you could be an accountant. I'd rather be dead. No offense to any accountants out there. If you do your job and you love it and you're good at it, good for you. Me personally, it's not that I don't like math. I've never had a problem with math in school. That was one of my best subjects. I just didn't love it. And as much as I hate the kind of jobs that I've had, sitting at a desk for 10, 20 hours a day crunching numbers sounds like hell. And of course everybody throws out, well, it's more money. Okay, but you know what? Money's not everything. At this point in time, I was in my early 20s, and I was working towards something, and it didn't work out. Sometimes dreams don't come true. Sometimes your dreams crash and burn. But when they do, get another dream. But in this case, I wasn't saying any of this to this guy. I was just sitting there kind of letting him talk, because I'd been in these situations before, and that's really all you can do. I had told people in the past before, I don't want your advice, please stop. And that just makes them angry and freak out because you're not willing to drink from their fountain of knowledge. So at this point, everything that I respond with was just what I was thinking. I mean, hey, look at me. Seriously? I know for me, things are not exactly what you would call perfect. You don't say. At the moment, I will admit it, I am unemployed. Well, that's a shock. And I have been divorced not once, not twice, but thrice. And at that moment in my head, I was praying, Dear Lord, if you love me, please let his next words be that he lives in a van down by the river. And I am currently in between homes. That means homeless. Right now I'm staying at the motel down the street. One thing. But hey, I'm happy with my life. You really shouldn't be. I've got no regrets. I doubt that. I live life to its fullest. Drunkenly giving a motivational speech to somebody who really doesn't want to hear it is what's considered living life to the fullest. And here's the thing. Darby, with hard work and education, you can be just like me. Oh, the dream. You could be happy like I am, living life to the fullest like I am, successful. What would make me happy would be you leaving. Now at this point, I'm sorry, I can't tell you the rest of what he said because I just kind of tuned out, started thinking about just random things like the kind of movies I like and what's going on in the next episode of Raw or something. But he did go on and on and on and on and on. So I'll just kind of give you a rendition of what I heard. Blah, 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 my stupid advice. Blah, 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 you didn't ask for it. Blah, 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 I am so in denial. Blah, 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 I'm really drunk. And then finally, after what felt like hours but was a few minutes, he stopped and looked like he was about to leave and turned back and said, I hope I made a difference, Darby. You didn't, but I kept quiet. I wasn't about to say anything to this guy. I just kind of nodded, but that's not enough. He's like, well, what? Well, are you gonna take my advice or what? Probably not. Really? So all that I just said there, that was all for nothing. Pretty much. Wow. Okay. Well, I tried. You want to just sit here, a job you're not happy with, being unsuccessful, being miserable. You just go on and do it. At least I'll be employed. That I said. What was that? You heard me. You heard me clearly. I sat here listening to your long rant. Finally you were about to leave, but it's not enough. What, you want me to thank you? Thank you, Mr. Drunken Homeless Guy, for telling me how I should live my life. Look, you don't know me, you don't know my situation, but I will tell you this much about me. I didn't want your advice. I didn't want to sit here and listen to your speech. I bit my tongue the entire time, and now you've pushed it. Please leave. Well, your manager will be hearing from me. You know what? As long as I don't hear from you, fine. Screw you! He didn't say screw, though. Now, ultimately, I did think that he was just going to go sleep it off and not remember any of this, and very unlikely was going to call the manager. But a couple days later, I saw her, and I asked her if by chance she had heard from this guy, and she had. Yeah, he came in, he told me that he tried to give you advice on how to fix your life, and you basically just blew him off, and he wasn't happy about it. Then sat there for a while telling me what I should do to fix my life. Now, there's no moral to the story. That was just really, really annoying. But I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me if you've ever gotten an annoying motivational speaker customer like this. Love you guys.